Welcome back. Well, yes, we're focusing now on what is going to be done about floods. We've got Alhaji Mustafa May Haja, the Director General of NEMA. He joins us from studios in Abuja. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, we do know that NEMA declared, I think, 4 states as disaster areas, and then several states that were on the watch, as we've seen in some reports today, have also had their challenges. At the moment, beyond declaring those states disaster areas, what are you doing afterwards?
Well, what declaration of national disaster entails is that the Director General, with the mandate of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, can direct any federal agency to use its authority and resources for immediate deployment to assist the affected states. If there is health need, Federal Ministry of Health will be there to support our operations. If there is water and sanitation needs, Ministry of Water Resources, Federal Ministry of Water Resources is there to support operations in those states, and so on and so forth. In a situation like this, there used to be, or there is always need for one form of assistance or the other. The federal structures are in position to provide all the needed support, assistance that are required in those states.
In terms of a little more specifics now for those particular states, we know that some of them have moved from where they are to other areas. Is the scope of your job, what kind of cooperation, how do you work with states? We know you've got SEMA. What is the level of cooperation you have, and what do you provide specifically for those of them who have left their homes, for instance?
It's Act of National Assembly that established NEMA, so as the recognition and the directive to establish SEMAs also contained in the same act. So our works and operations, wherever we go, our first point of call is the state government and of course the SEMAs. All our operations, apart from SEMAs, any other body, I mean NGOs, also participate in such kind of operations. It's a multi-agency, multi-sectoral coordination mechanism that NEMAs adopt to ensure that whatever is needed to support the operations to alleviate the suffering of the people is put in place. Before the declaration, several meetings, emergency meetings, or rather precisely 2 emergency meetings on the 7th and the 15th of September, comprising all stakeholders, including the United Nations organs, sat down and looked
if you could just give us a moment, we'll come back to you and go a little deeper into some of your activities and how you impact lives. That will be in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. Focusing on floods and how NEMA is wading in. Before we went to break, you were talking about states, because there are huge questions about capacity of NEMA, including those of the states, to respond to the huge challenges that the states are facing. We know that states are crying out to the federal government that they cannot tackle this. Are the states adequately prepared to wade in when these emergency cases happen?
Well, frankly speaking, we have issues in effective disaster management across the strata. We have the federal, NEMA is there, the state, SEMA is there, and the local emergency committee is also there. There is a weak link because of lack of capacity, lack of funding sometimes at the state level. However, knowing these challenges, we have to set out to prepare ourselves to ensure that those gaps are really reduced, if not eliminated. That is why the moment the situation got where it was on the 6th of September, we quickly summoned an emergency meeting of all stakeholders, like I said earlier on. We set up 6 committees comprising all the stakeholders to move to all these the 12 identified states to first inform the state of the seriousness of the matter, to assess their preparedness, to identify locations of high ground that we could move people that are really trapped or will be trapped. Where it has already occurred in some states, we ensure that we move them to those locations that have been identified. For example, in Kogi, the Presidential Committee on Flood Relief and Rehabilitation has constructed 2 hostels. We quickly, together with the state government, moved those people that are already displaced to those locations. In NEMA also, we observed that there was need for food and not food items. We quickly moved them from stores, and if you could have heard from the Deputy Governor of Kogi State, he acknowledged the reception of those items and they are distributed immediately. So on and so forth. The health-related issues are being assessed. Federal Ministry of Health was part of the team that we went to Kogi, and they have already mobilized resources to ensure that any health challenges that may occur is right away attended to. These are the kind of operations we have. Don't forget that we have activated the National Emergency Operations Center and 5 Territorial Operations Center. They are the main coordinating tools or mechanism to guide all responses, all support that comes from anywhere, to ensure that they are properly and effectively utilized for the purpose they are meant for.
Speaking about funding, you know, some time ago, I do know you may recall, the House of Reps Committee on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness, while they were looking through your budget for 2017, as you were preparing to defend that of 2018, they raised some concerns. They said that they had approved 1.8 billion for NEMA. And in the documents, or it turns out that some of the documents submitted indicated that NEMA had spent about 11 billion. They didn't know how that came about. And they also said that at that point, NEMA said that they had spent 1.6 billion to repatriate people from Libya, Nigerians from Libya, to the country. And many wondered, what exactly, how does that happen? Did you buy the plane? How did you come about those figures?
Well, in the issue of funding in a situation of emergency is a different issue entirely when you want to discuss on the funding of other related issues that are not emergency in nature. So whenever such kind of emergency situation occur, we normally approach the government, we approach the president, and then any emergency fund being provided wherever, which I may not know, are being released. The case of Libyan operation is the same as the one I'm just trying to explain. There was serious concern, serious issue, abuses that were reported in the media of Nigerians that were trapped in Libya. Any government that is responsible will surely have to quickly and swiftly respond, and that is what exactly the government did.